Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. I have one article for you in this episode. This is off of Bundy Ranch Standoff Info, and it says, government fears jury nullification in the Bundy Ranch trial. Motions to shield relevant evidence of government culpability from the jury. The U.S. Attorney's motion, the court to preclude key evidence in the first Bundy Ranch trial. The 16-page filing seeks to block the introduction of certain evidence because it would act in favor of defendants. Subsequently, 3 full pages delineate a convoluted argument against any evidence that could introduce the possibility of jury nullification, referring to it as a violation of a juror's oath to apply the law as instructed by the court, citing Merced versus Grath in 2004. In short, the government fears jury nullification and subsequently wishes the jury to be ignorant of any collateral evidence that might persuade them to acquit. First Malheur Refuge trial. The government motions that the court block any and all references to the first Malheur Refuge trial. They argue that because the case involved none of the Tier 3 defendants, that the outcome of that case is immaterial in Nevada. As a result, any attempt to reference the case, according to the government, constitutes hearsay. The Malheur trial is very relevant in a couple of ways. First and foremost, Counts 2 and 3 of the Bundy Ranch indictment are identical to the charges in the Malheur case. While the circumstances of the surrounding, while the circumstances surrounding the charges are inherently different, one aspect is not. Specifically, the District of Oregon dismissed the 924C enhancement of the conspiracy charge. The District of Nevada refuses to follow suit. Jurors will never know that other co-defendants in a different trial tier did not have to face the 924C enhancement in another district. As a side note, there is a second Malheur Refuge trial about to soon begin. The second tier of defendants will not only face the same charges in which a jury acquitted their co-defendants, the government added several misdemeanor charges that the first trial tier did not face. The government's criminal activity. Probably the most egregious claim in the filing is the motion to preclude perceived misconduct by federal agents. There is nothing more relevant to the defense of these men than the criminal aggressive posture of the government on April the 12th of 2014. The government wishes for the court to suppress any testimony that might indicate that the Bundy Ranch operation was excessive in nature. Additionally, they motion that the court block any reference to agents being excessively equipped or acting militaristically. The Bundy Ranch case arises in large part from the misconduct of the government. They pointed weapons at unarmed people over cows. Agents threw women to the ground. Lawful protesters received shots by tasers. Finally, after deciding to cease the roundup, they announced their intention to subject men, women, and minor children to lethal force. Every detail related to the government's behavior is relevant. As such, the attempt to block this evidence means that the government fears jury nullification. Consequently, the motion affirms what many of us already know. The government has much to hide. Other non-government opinions. The U.S. Attorney asked the court to block any reference to opinions contrary to their own set of embellished allegations, specifically any statement by a third party referencing hearsay statements of public officials. Nevada Governor Brian Sandoval heavily criticized the government's use of First Amendment areas. Additionally, then Sheriff Doug Gillespie, who was critical of Clive and Bundy as well, blamed the escalation on the Bureau of Land Management. Gillespie said the BLM deserves blame for escalating the situation, ignoring his advice, dismissing his warnings, and even lying about their operation. That's out of the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Since the government fears jury nullification, they asked the court to shield from the jury any opinion contrary to their own construction of the unfolding events. Government fears jury nullification. The government essentially wishes to be able to prosecute any defendant without having to answer for its own behavior. This is constitutionally abhorrent. Defendants in this case lawfully exercise First Amendment rights. Additionally, defendants in this case were in lawful possession of weapons on public property. No citizen has to provide the government a reason for lawfully exercising constitutionally affirmed God-given rights. The government, however, should have to answer for Daniel Love's tactical deployment of militarized land management agents against lawful protesters. This is the essence of the escalation of events that day. Should the government succeed, they will ensure that their actions are inadmissible in court. They will gain judicial approval to act outside of the law. They will obtain affirmation that they operate with impunity in the dissemination of tyrannical governance. The government seeks tyranny to become law. And there is a picture here in this of it says United States District Court, District of Nevada. And there's 16 pages of this if you want to pull that up and take a look at that. What a travesty. There's one comment underneath this. Says all government employees view themselves as the good guys. That's why they play the cover your ass game. They haven't matured past sophomore in high school. So if you want to make comments on this article, you can pull it up and make comments to their article, or if you want to make comments on this video, you're welcome to do that as well. Man, oh man. Talk about a kangaroo court. Wow. Well, if you like what I'm doing here, give it a thumbs up and share it on your social media so everybody gets to hear the news. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not done that yet. And if you click the bell next to the subscription button, a box pops up that you can check. If you check that, you'll get email alerts every time I put a show up, and that way you'll stay informed. Got one more episode for you this morning. I'll see you there.